Hi everyone, this is Shelly. Welcome to my channel, Crafty Cottage Dreams. And today I'm here to present my design team project for Lydia over at Raindrop Lila. It is my August design team project, and I have two beautiful journals here. They are one signature, hidden signature, hardcover, and with some mini journals. And I have used her kits: Little Blessings, Baby Blues, Annabelle, Vintage Pastel, Rosalind, Pink Vintage, It's a Lot, Blue Antique Documents, Pretty Blue Standard Layouts, Pretty Blue Add-on Ephemera, Pretty Blue Wallpaper, and her French and Antique Documents. And I also used, I had some leftovers from her previous Parisian kit, so I wanted to use them up, and you will see these throughout the journal. And I'm contemplating as to whether or not I wanted to do a silent video, but I think I'm just going to get right into it. And instead of doing that, I'm going to set these aside. These are pretty much the same, guys. Just placement may be different. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. And they measure, let's see, a little over 9 inches in length. And a little, it's about in width 6.5 inches. And the smaller journals, which I always like to include as well, almost 5.5 inches in length and 4 inches in width. So I am going to get through these really rather quickly. And I'm going to set one aside. And we'll start with the mini. It's so cute. I did some stamping here. And of course, I'm using all the beautiful laces and trims and such for my friend Sherry that she so graciously gifted me. We have a little lace flower here with a button, vintage button. Here's the back. I did a lot of collaging. It's wrapped with some twine, some washi tape. It's so pretty. And we're just going to get through this little mini journal quickly. I love, love, love Lydia. The blue is perfect. And I created tons of ephemera. Look at this, so pretty. Here's a little, some ephemera with rusted brad that I rusted. And I stamped a vintage there. Use my vintage stamp. And a lot of ladies asked me about that stamp. And I believe I got it off from Etsy. I do love the font on this. But I don't know what shop it. Oh, here it is right on the side. Mountainside Crafts. There you go, ladies. Mountainside Crafts. And I have these little mini, they're so cute, which I rusted up to. Little mini paper clips. And I have a sip of my water. today I'm making for dinner cilantro lime sea scallops. I'm so excited about that. It looks delicious. So I'm going to try that recipe out. I love this wallpaper. And we have a little vintage lace cluster. Some blue floral there. We have another tag with the vintage tape, which I created. And then we have, I got these at Hobby Lobby, and I saw Meredith do that on some of her tags. Thank you, Meredith. That was such a great idea. And it's from the Paper Studio, these little corners, photo corners. Thought it was a cute idea. So I did do that. Here's the back. It's another tag. I love that image. Some lace. Here I added some vintage lace with a rusted brad. Here's the center. So cute. I love these little mini paper clips. Certainly journal in the back. How did I have this? I think I want this up here like this. And then I had a bunch of leftovers, so I just did some collaging. And here is a corner, one of those metal corners. I had a bunch of these too. I didn't realize I had so many. Out of sight, out of mind, I guess. But I found them, so I used them up. So we're just going to set that aside. That's my mini journal. And here is my pretty journal. I'm so excited with how this came out. It's so beautiful. And I used those corners here on the bottom and the back. We have some washi tape. I love this wallpaper. Some lace on the side. And then I added this pretty blue trim that I had, some vintage buttons with some rosebuds, and I added some buttons, vintage buttons here as well. And I just added this tag in the front, and this is the leftover from her Parisian kit tags. And I just wrapped this twine around this beautiful image and added a bow that just sits right in the front, just something extra. And I wrapped it with some twine, and I just love how it came out. And here's those corners there too. I added that stamp that I have journal. I used some corrugated cardboard, added this beautiful image with some washi tape, and I used my gesso just to give it, I don't know, different texture. It's so pretty. So how about, I just love this journal. I didn't name them, but they will be listed in my Etsy shop later on today after the video has uploaded. And I also added this doily here with a vintage button. And look at it, guys. Isn't it so pretty? I did some collaging with leftover scrap that I had here. I added the little pink rosebuds in here. I love this. I love this. I love these journals. I think they came out so pretty. I just love the background. And I created these little envelopes here. And it's attached on this doily with a twine bow. And it's a little tuck spot here in the front. It's so pretty. And I just have this beautiful Carte postal image here, and it's backed with that French blue wallpaper. And then I created these. I seen Lidia do these with some book pages, and I didn't have the blue Tim Holtz spray, but I did have some blue in the ink pad, and I just wet it down and I used that. And then once they dried, I went through and printed, I don't know if you can tell, one of Lydia's images on there as well. And that just tucks in there. We have a little lace cluster with some, not sure if you can tell, little pearls there. And they just tuck in here. I hope I'm in full, I am. And then I just created, again, these were left over from Lydia's, I believe it's her Parisian line. And I just made a little tag flip. And I just attached them with this pretty washi tape that I have. I added this floral sticker in with my vintage tape. You could certainly journal on the inside. And then these, I want to show you these. I had this leftover fabric, so I just attached them to this paper clip. I love this. It's so pretty. And then we just have a tag here with some lace and a twine. Used some twine and made a bow. I attached this image. You can certainly journal in the back. I love her French blue documents. And this pretty wallpaper. This, I think, is my favorite. I love this. Added some vintage tape. And then I created these pockets made out of those book pages that I did, which is right there. I made a pocket, added some lace, added a little pin here, and we just have some tags. Plenty of room to journal in, guys. I love this. I just absolutely loved her whole collection. This is so pretty too. Plenty of room to journal in. I love her French blue documents. If you haven't seen them, guys, you have to check it out. It's so pretty. I added this beautiful lace cluster with some pearl. It's not really pearl, it's white. I don't know. I had it in my stash, so I just thought it was fitting. And then I love this. I added this floral sticker here and added my vintage tape there. Some stitching, and when you flip over to the other side, it flips out. And I added my stamp there, journal. You can certainly journal here on the side. My frame. I just did some collaging here and added that pretty floral sticker with my vintage tape that I created. I added some washi here, and then I just did some hand stitching here, and I added this pretty vintage wallpaper as a pocket and did some collaging and sample stamps. I always love to use sample stamps. And then I used my vintage stamp here and attached it with a T-pin, rusted T-pin that I rusted with some beautiful lace. And here we have some tags in ephemera. And here is one which I did some collaging on here because I had extra scraps. I backed it with some Amazon packing paper, or I think this one actually was a lunch paper bag. So you can certainly journal in the back. And then I added one of those metal corners. And I added that from that book page where I just distressed in, I think it's called Tim Holtz Peacock Blue, I think it is. And yeah, it just tucks in there. And then we have this beautiful tag. I had some lace and my vintage tape. And we have this beautiful, I love this image. Here is one of those corners, photo corners, metal photo corners, and some vintage tape. So pretty, I love it. Some vintage tape, plenty of room again to journal in. And here is the center, guys. I chose this for my center because I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I love these. You can get these right off from Amazon. They're so cool. Excuse me, guys. And here I have vellum. It is vellum, and it's printed on and hand sewn. And it sits in the middle, and then I just have some ephemera here. There's nothing in here. You can certainly add to it. And then we have these beautiful images. These are not from Lydia's collection. They are tags that I've had for some time. I've had these for some time, and I just thought they were pretty fitting in this journal. So I included them. Oops. I had this in the back attached there. Some vintage tape, and here again is another pocket. I added some beautiful vintage lace. I did a little cluster of lace there with a little pin. And here's some tags and ephemera. I just wrapped this tag with some twine and added some vintage tape. And this is just attached. You can certainly take it off if you'd like. It's backed with a book page. Those little rusted paper clips. And created this tag. Her tags are so beautiful. Added a T-pin, some vintage lace there, vintage tape, certainly journal in the back. I love this. So pretty. The blues are so pretty. I have a vintage button up there, some beautiful lace, vintage tape. My favorite image. And then here are those paper clips. I love those. So easy to create as well, ladies. Added this beautiful floral sticker with some vintage tape. And again, it's just a little tag flip out. Can certainly journal, and here's a little tuck spot. And here we just have a flip out. So cute. And again, I have that paper clip with some fabric. And these are her French and antique documents. And it's attached to the top here. And then we have a little flip out. Love that image. And I added, and it's attached with a Tim Holtz brad up there, if you can see. And I just added this beautiful sticker with some washi tape and some lace, which kind of ties in with this lace here. And I just added a bunch of her French antique documents in here. Tons. You can certainly journal. Little secret journaling spot in here. I love that flip out with that. I thought it was a cute idea. And here is the back cover. It's so pretty. I added a little bulldog clip, which here is, look at the back of this. I love it. And I added some washi tape and did some collaging there. But these are made out of brown paper bags. I did some stamping here. And again, we have those little photo metal corner tabs there. And it created a pocket. I did some collaging. I wrapped it with this twine. So pretty. Added some sari. And on the inside of the bag, I created this tag, which kind of is the same as the front cover there. And I added sample stamp. I used some of my gesso, added some twine for a bow there. And that tucks right in there. And then I have some beautiful tags here. You can certainly journal on them. And I backed it with her antique French documents, and they tuck nicely in there. This was so much fun to create using the paper bags, the lunch bags, and this just clips on the back here like that. And that is my journal, guys. One of them. So cute. I love how everything came out. And we will go through the second journal, which again is pretty much the same. So I'm going to go through that really rather quickly. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. And there you have it. I will put this together after my video. Let's grab the other journal. Here is the second journal with the mini journal. I love it. I think it's so cute. And we will flip through this really rather quickly, guys. Again, it's pretty much the same as the previous journal I just showed you. Here's that. The mini. Here is the large journal. I love the hard. I've had so many vintage book covers, and I kind of want to really use them up. So, and this is pretty thick, guys. Here's that, oops, here's that tag. Pretty much the same, guys. So I'm not going to take the tags out, but I'm just going to flip through it because, again, I love these envelopes that I made. I created. So cute. The same. I love that rusted T-pin. I have to get more. I used them all up in these journals. Love it. So pretty. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. I love this. Rusted T-pin, some collaging. Beautiful tags and ephemera. I love those metal corner pieces. Here's the center. That's vellum. So pretty. This is also, it's a flip out, but you can certainly tuck something in there. If you wanted to put this tag in there that was on the front cover, you most certainly can. Here's some our French antique documents. I just distressed it. The flip, and again with that, some of our papers which I've torn and just attached the brand here. Secret journaling spots. They're French and antique documents. And there is the back. And again, it's made out of that paper bag. And those were fun to create. Maybe I'll do, these have been made before. I've made these before. They're just so fun to make. And that is my second journal, guys. And that is it. That is my design team project for Lydia over at Raindrop Lila. If you haven't checked her out, which I'm sure you have, I will post all of her links down below in the description box. And these journals will also be listed in my Etsy shop sometime today. Thank you guys for joining me. It was a pleasure. I seriously enjoyed making these journals. They were so much fun to create, and they're so pretty, and I love them. I was contemplating on keeping them, but I cannot. They will be posted in my Etsy shop, and until next time, much love and hugs. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.